The following is a special presentation of Tony Kurre Radio. From hot dogs to cool kitties, this is Darkside of the Pooch.
It is time for another edition of Darkside of the Pooch. It is a brand new show and a brand new studio. Dr. Reb Stewart of the Rossbridge Animal Hospital is on with us right now. Dr. Reb, how you doing, brother? Happy holidays.
This new studio, I can feel it through.
Can you feel it?
I can feel it through the Zoom.
Dude, we used to do the show. You used to be in the studio with me, and we've been doing the Zoom thing since the COVID thing, and it sounds really good. But I would love, I'm extending you a personal invite to come do the show live in the studio someday. It's fantastic. You're going to love it.
I'll be there. We will do that.
Always brought to you by Ed's Pet World. Man, they are rocking and rolling, getting ready for the holidays. People love to buy exotic pets. You know, I love people getting cats and dogs. We'll certainly talk a lot about that. But, man, lizards and tarantulas, things you can hold in your hand. I got a balboa from down there, fish. They have a cockatoo down there. They got everything down at Exotic Pets at Ed's Pet World. So if you're looking for that special exotic pet this holiday season, make sure you ask and say, is this something you'd like? Would you like a sugar glider? Make sure they want it first, because you don't want to be giving a pet to someone that doesn't want it. We talked about that last week, but they got it going on. And also, Seth goes from coast to coast looking for great toys, in the box, collectibles, Battlestar Galactica stuff, Star Trek stuff, watches, you name it, he's got it all. If you find some stuff in your attic, bring it down. They buy, sell, and trade. Ed's Pet World, in business for 50 years. We're going to talk about the 2022 most common dog and cat names. I'll see how many Dr. Rab can nail. We also have an issue with Schnapp-a-Cat. My cat, I'm having an issue with it. I'll talk about that. The BBB has come out with 12 scams of Christmas, and pet ownership is in there. And do you know what dog whale eye is? Let's start right there. We got some emails too. info@TonyCurryRadio.net, info@TonyCurryRadio.net. Do you know what dog whale eye is?
Okay. Are you saying like whale, like the animal whale?
Yes.
And then eye, like the seeing thing?
Yes.
Well, maybe it's a layman term that I'm not familiar with, but maybe they're talking about strabismus.
No, it's actually not a medical thing. It is when your dog turns his head to the left or the right, but keeps his eye on the target.
Oh, that happens to me every day at work.
When you can see the whites of your dog's eye. And normally, what does that mean when you see a dog whale eye?
I would think they're being very cautious.
Yes. They say, and of course, over the holidays, what do we have? We have a lot of new people coming in, a lot of people out. You got things being moved around. Their food bowl's not where it normally is. There's things that are loud crashes. So if you see dog whale eye, you need to be a little scared of that, right?
Right. Oh, but so strabismus. That is
yes.
With dogs that have strabismus, when their eye is pointed a different way than it should be, and you see the white of the eye. So
now, is that a medical? That's a medical thing.
That's a medical issue.
Okay.
That's a medical issue.
Okay.
Yeah. So whale eye could also be considered a medical issue, but not in this case.
See, and I think that's a good look for a puppy dog. Normally, whenever you look at what's it called, strabiscus.
Strabismus. That's Strabismus.
Whenever you see a dog with its eye just not quite centered, that is a beautiful look for a dog. I hate to say that, but I don't want to see anything bad happen to an animal. But that is, you see calendars where a puppy dog's eye will stray off just a little bit. That's a beautiful look, right?
Yeah, it's endearing.
Yeah,
you're like, hey, look at that deformed little creature. I think I love it.
Not so much with your kids. When you do Christmas Vacation where she falls in the whale and
that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah. What's her name? Ruby. And then she gets kicked by the donkey and the eyesight comes back.
She got kicked by a mule.
All right. This is a wonderful show, Darkside the Pooch. You can hear it 5 days a week, and you can hear my dogs bark in the background. They know it's time for, hear that? Oh yeah.
What is that?
That's my dogs, man. They're barking in the other room.
I can't hear it.
Oh, they're raising all kinds of commotion. They know we're talking to Dr. Reb Stewart, and Vriska knows he's coming in tomorrow. I'm looking forward to getting his annual tomorrow. We got the most common dog and cat names for 2022. We also got some info at TonyCurryRadio.net questions I want to get into. Do you want to take a stab at this? The top 5, and this is they're kind of lame, to be quite frank with you, but I got the top 5 male and female dog names. You want to start with the males?
We can start with the males.
What do you got? Just give me some names, and I'll tell you if you're in the top 5.
Teddy.
Teddy is in the top 10. That's number 7.
Cooper's
number 3. You're good.
I don't know. I'm kind of reaching after that. What you got?
Let's go with Buddy number 5, Milo number 4, Cooper number 3, Charlie number 2, and Max number 1. Now you want to go?
I should have known Max.
And I'll tell you right now, for the females, the number 1 dog name for females is the same as the number 1 cat name for females.
Oh, so it's not Bella.
Yeah, Bella's number 2.
Number 1 cat name and dog name, female dog name is Lucy.
No, it's actually Lucy's number 4. Number 5 is Lily. Lucy, Daisy's number 3. Bella's number 2, and Luna is the number 1 female dog name. And then for cats, the number 1 female name is Luna, Lily, Bella, Lucy, and then Nala, which of course is the fictional character from The Lion King. And then you want to give me the top 5 cat names for males.
Oh, gosh.
And they actually share some names with dogs, which is weird. Max is number 5. Charlie's number 4. Now give me the top 3.
I don't know. Cats cats can be all over the place. What are they?
Leo's number 3. Milo's number 2. Milo's all over the place. And Oliver is the number 1 cat name for 2022.
Oliver. That's a good name. I like Oliver.
We'll get into it. Info at TonyCurryRadio.net. Info at TonyCurryRadio.net. Before we get into our email questions, I had, I've got an outside cat. It's Schnappa Cat. We call her Happy Jumpy Cat. We always call her Schnappa. And she has lived at our house for 19 years. She's an outdoor cat. When it gets below freezing, I bring her in, put her in the laundry room. She loves it, but she's always at the front door, and she's good. If I sit on the front doorstep, she'll come up, but she doesn't like to be touched. The only time I can touch her is when she's eating. So I've got to get my cat. I'm moving into this new studio 20 minutes away, and I've got to bring her with me. She's the last thing I packed up. I got everything out of the house, and I made a special trip over there to catch the Schnappa Cat, right? So I
put her in a suitcase?
No.
Like at the airport?
You know what? That might have been easier. So I didn't feed her for 2 days. So she'd be really, really hungry. And she hears the sound of her food. So, I mean, the minute I laid it down, she came running. I got her in the car 4 times. I had her sleeping kennel with a hole in the front. So I taped up the hole in the front. She couldn't get out. And 4 times she got out of that thing and got out of the car before I could close the hatch. The 5th time I fed her, I sat on the front doorstep for 30 minutes. And then as soon as she turned her back, I grabbed her. She made this gosh awful sound. And I tossed her gently into the vehicle, and we were on our way. So we get back over here to the new place. And you just imagine if someone came over to Rossbridge Animal Hospital right now, put a bag over your head, stuck you in the trunk of a car, and then dropped you off, 3 hours away and said, have a nice life, right? So that's how bad I felt. So I got her over here. She was in the kennel, and as soon as I pulled the tape off, she just whipped out. She was gone. I have not seen her since. That was 2 days ago. Should I be worried?
So she's outside right now?
She's outside, yeah. I mean, I haven't seen her since she ran out.
I wouldn't be worried after 2 days.
Okay.
I would be concerned after a week.
Okay.
I would be worried after 2 weeks.
Okay. And the other thing is, my next door neighbor has 6 dogs and 7 cats, which is probably
you give him my number.
Dude, and she's got 4 snakes too. She's an interesting bird. And when I walked over there, I was like, "Hey, I'm your new neighbor."
Maybe you want her number.
No, but she's like, "I hope you don't mind, but I have 6 dogs." And I said, "Well, I've already moved in. The deal is done." So, and they do bark a little bit. She's got a couple of blind dogs too. But when a cat gets into a new neighborhood, and there are like 7 new cats that live next door. And I'm assuming she's going to have friends, right? But like when you bring 7 new kids into your family with your daughter or your son, they don't always get along. Should I be worried about that?
I don't think so. I think that, I think that Snappy will probably hide. I don't think that she's going to seek confrontation. And I don't think the other cats will try to try anything with her. I think, she's been around the block a while.
Yeah.
I would be more concerned with like a wild animal that are, a little less fearful and a little more scrappy.
All right. This is Darkside the Pooch. He's Dr. Rab Stewart, 208-0301, 208-0301, area code 205. I called him this morning. I'm going to be in at the Rossbridge Animal Hospital at 8:30 tomorrow with Frisco. Looking forward to getting them all fixed up. And, of course, at Rossbridge Vet on Twitter, Rossbridge Animal Hospital on Facebook. They're fantastic. I take all my pets there. You should, too. The Kennel Club has gotten several. I love these end-of-the-year polls and stuff they do. They have a list of the top 5 most stolen dogs. If they say if you have one of these breeds, you need to be careful because what do people love to give as gifts around the holidays? Dogs. And particularly if it's one that's actually potty trained already, and golly, you don't have to deal with that. And next thing you know, if it's particularly purebreds, you just take them out of the yard and you're on your way. Do you want to take a stab at the top 5 most stolen breeds? And this is according to the Kennel Club over the last 5 years.
Labradors.
Labrador is number 2.
French Bulldog.
French Bulldog's not on here. Number 3 really surprised me. German Shepherd's number 3. I can't imagine trying to steal a German Shepherd.
What about Yorkie?
Yorkie is number 1. Very good. And then you got 2 other ones.
What about Cavalier?
Cavalier's not on there.
What about a Shih Tzu?
The Shih Tzu's number 5. Very good. Very easy. You can just stick it in your back pocket. And then number 4 is a Siberian Husky. I'm assuming that the bigger breeds are dogs you'd want to get just because they're really cool looking. And obviously, you're not going to have a Siberian Husky puppy running around your front yard. I hope not. So to steal an actual big dog is it's quite the undertaking, right?
Yeah, and let me first apologize to all Husky and German Shepherd owners that are listening to this show.
Yes.
You could not pay me to have one of those dogs.
Why?
Because, see, my whole idea of the type or breed or whatever dog I want is purely based on my work relationship with those dogs.
I got you.
And Huskies can't stand coming to the vet. They hate the vet.
Yeah.
And German Shepherds are not far behind them in their hatred of the people who provide their medical care. So because of that, because of my work relationship with Huskies and German Shepherds, you could not pay me to take one of those.
Oh, that's amazing. So if you're not stealing a dog, and we hope you don't do that, and it is something to think about. I mean, if you've got a fenced-in yard, it's a little different, but if you have a dog that stays in the yard, it runs around, and it's late at night, you let it out, it doesn't come back in, there's a chance, particularly if you just moved into a new house, it may be stolen. The BBB just came out with its 12 scams of Christmas, and one of those scams, this is crazy to me because the number's so high, they're saying 80% of all sponsored pet advertisements may be fake. In other words, people want to buy pets for the holidays. There are so many. It makes sense. There's a special place in hell for people that scam people like this. But they're saying close to 80% of pet retrievals, if you will, as far as in trying to buy pets. And they're saying the number one thing you do is you see an ad, whether it's on the internet or wherever, you call the owner and they go, yes, and if you want to save this animal, they're going quick, I'm going to need a deposit. Don't ever do it because that's how they get you. And I mean, I've got friends of mine that have spent $2,000-$3,000 on a dog, and I'm not that guy. I've gone $600 on my Havanese, and it's well worth every dime. But if they say I need a $250 deposit, you can come by tomorrow and pick them up. And they're saying people are just driving around, and they come to find out there's nothing at that address. There's nobody there. They're getting scammed.
Oh, yeah, that's terrible. But I mean, I think it's pretty. I mean, I think it's common, that people ask for deposits on stuff like that. And I'm not one to do that. I don't, I'm always, I guess it's the cynic in me or something, but yeah, be mindful of that.
Well, if you've already gone to see the dog, and normally I would never pay a deposit on something I have not seen. I'm not paying a deposit on a car unless I go see it and kick the tires, right? So if you've already seen the breeder or you've already been to their house and you put a deposit down on an animal, I don't have a problem with that. But to do it purely over the internet, you're due to get scammed. This is Darkside of the Pooch. You hear it 5 days a week, every single Monday through Friday. And our podcasts are just blowing up. We get so many great shows. Darkside of the Pooch. We got Mission Minded with, of course, the Montgomery Food Banks, and Michael Coleman's a great guy. We got Need to Know with Kip Kiefer, Want to Bet, making cash over the CFP season. We got that going on. We have Austin Hanks, Blues Almighty with Billy Gibbons. We have Damon Johnson Show, a Live Wire Wednesday, on and on and on. Check out all of our podcasts at Tony Kurre Radio Podcast. That's Kurre with a K, Kurre, and info at TonyKurreRadio.net. We'll get into some questions right now, as a matter of fact. Tracy in Boulder, Colorado. She said, I listened to your show. I found your show for the first time last week. I absolutely loved it. I am in. She has 5 inside cats. She said, I kind of realized the answer to my question already, but she just kind of wanted us to talk about a little bit. Her cats are absolutely traumatized by Christmas. There is a lot of movement going on. There are a lot of loud sounds. She said her kids like a lot of these computer animated toys and, of course, RC cars and things like that just roll around. She said over the next 30 days, I probably won't see my 5 cats or indoor cats. Can you talk about that? We think it's funny. We love, if you get on Google or YouTube and look at funny cat videos, people lay down rubber snakes and cats are jumping through the ceilings. But just talk about the traumatization of kitty cats over the holidays and in general.
It's dangerous to scare a cat. Not because it's not dangerous for your health, but it's dangerous for your quality of life, because cats are very emotional. And if you scare them or you cause anxiety or fear, then they may develop some habits that you don't want to deal with. And that's specifically peeing and pooping outside the litter box,
yes,
or just tearing things up around the house. If it's just a situational thing where you have a bunch of people coming over, or, the Christmas tree freaks them out, or toys that, kids get are going to scare them, then just get through the holidays by having a quiet place for your cat. Maybe finding a room when it does get busy in the house, when the presents are getting opened or you're having guests over. Give them a room where they can just go in and you can shut the door and they have all their stuff in there and they're not going to be subjected to stressful situations. Because you're not really going to want to medicate them for that short of a period of time, just through the Christmas or holiday season. So just give them a place where they can kind of chill.
I'm a compassionate person. I know how compassionate you are with animals, and you have dogs and you've had kitty cats and you've had the little 9 yards. And I mentioned this next door neighbor. The guy on the other side of her obviously has a big time issue with her dogs barking. And again, they bark for 5 or 10 minutes every single night when they let them out. They see things. There's more dogs in this neighborhood in Hoover. I've never seen anything like it. There are people constantly walking up and down streets with dogs, which is great. But the neighbor on the other side has a hose. And whenever one of her cats gets in his yard, he sprays the cats or sprays the dogs when they bark. And now she told me yesterday, she shares probably way too much, despite the fact I've only talked to her for about 10 or 15 minutes total. But she said her cats are starting to wake out and they're going in the house and they're urinating on her children's toys. Is that kind of normal? They're freaking out, and so they're starting to urinate all over the toys of their kids.
Yeah, that's what they do. They get mad or they get stressed and they start peeing in inappropriate places. So that may not be the reason why. There's a bunch of other reasons why, but it's definitely possible.
What are some of those other reasons when you have an animal, and I'll use dogs as an example too. I know that when I had 3 dogs, then we brought a 4th dog in and it was a potty trained, everybody went back to their old habits. And so it was hell. When you have a dog, but you're not bringing any new pets into the family, and all of a sudden they start going back to their old habits, what does that usually tell you?
Well, first you have to be sure they don't have a real medical problem, and it could be behavioral. And I guess behavioral, you could say it's a medical problem. But when I say a medical problem, I mean a problem with a body function other than an emotion. So, maybe they have a kidney problem or a bladder problem or a urethra problem, or maybe they have diabetes, where they're drinking a lot and peeing a lot. Or maybe they have another, what we call endocrinopathy. So something going on with the pituitary gland or the adrenal gland. Litter box hygiene is something that can cause cats to pee outside of the box. So you need to be sure that you have enough litter boxes for the cats and that they are scooped every day, and that once a week the litter is completely cleaned out and the box is cleaned with soap and water.
You know anybody that's got one of these robots? I hear they're really expensive, but these cat litter robots?
Oh, I think a lot of people have them.
Yeah, they're like $1,000.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have them, and I don't know I'm sure there are different ones and different price points and all that sort of stuff. Um, but even those sometimes can scare cats, and it'll make them have an aversion to the box, which can, push them to go to the bathroom in places other than the litter box. So if you find something that a cat likes, find a box and a litter that the cat likes, do not change the size of the box, the style of the box, the location of the box, or the litter. Just keep everything the same if at all possible.
So I mean, I know changing food can change an animal, but changing the litter for a cat will change its way sometimes.
Yeah, if they don't like a litter, if they don't like the texture of it or the smell of it, then they won't use the litter box anymore. They'll just pee right in your house somewhere else. Or poop.
Yeah, info@TonyCurryRadio.net. Your email questions. We get tons of them every single week. This is Darkside the Pooch, and thanks to the tens of thousands of folks who've already downloaded the TKR app. They listen to the show on Tony Curry Radio, and of course, they live indefinitely forever on our podcast series, Tony Curry Radio Podcast, at Rossbridge Vet on Twitter, the Rossbridge Animal Hospital on Facebook. Perfect question here. Pete in Birmingham says, do dog diapers work?
Yeah, dog diapers work.
How do they work?
You can use them. Well, so most people will use them for females that are in heat.
Yeah.
To keep them from having that discharge all over your house. So they're going to work for urine problems. They're not going to work so much for, stool problems. So they work. If you want to try to save a little bit of money for male dogs, this isn't going to work for females, but for male dogs, you can just get a baby diaper. And instead of putting it on a dog the way that you would put it on a person, where it kind of goes around their waist and between their back legs, you can turn it the other way. So it becomes basically a dog penis hammock. And then you just wrap it all the way around their waist, and then you can use duct tape over the top.
That sounds like too much. If you're willing to go that far to make sure your dog does not pee or poop in your house, just take it outside on a leash and walk it a little bit.
Yeah, what? But some dogs like it.
Where's the tail go?
No. That's what I'm saying. Like the tail. Well, if you just take a human diaper and you turn it the other way, the tail is never like. The diaper doesn't go that way.
Yeah.
But for these dog made diapers, they have a hole for the tail. You slip the there's a hole there, because they're not going to poop in a diaper. Yeah. These are all for urine problems and for, vaginal discharge for dogs that are still intact, like breeding dogs.
If you had a one-way, go ahead.
My in-laws had a dog and he would pee in that, like he was marking. And I hope they're listening so I can tell them to everyone in like worldwide that Sully was a bad boy and he tried to bite me all the time, even though he only had 2 teeth. And my father-in-law got such a kick out of it when I first started dating my wife. He was like, "Oh yeah, well he can't really hurt you. He only has 2 teeth." And I said, "Yeah, well those 2 teeth hurt because he just bit me." And he would mark all through the house. And so that's how I learned the trick of the human baby diaper trick.
If you had to take a one-way trip to San Francisco and you were not going to be able to start the car, would you wear a diaper?
Oh man!
Or would you go in a bottle?
No, I would go in a bottle. I've gone in a bottle before. I feel like every guy's gone in a bottle, right?
In college, I don't think I ever peed outside the car.
Yeah, but it's I don't know. Like you get older, and I don't know what the deal is, but. Yeah, when I was younger, I would do it. Now I'm like too worried that I'm gonna like pee on the seat or on myself or in the floor or like whatever, But back in the day, it's like you got a Gatorade bottle, like good to go.
No, we used to be able to do it while we were driving down the interstate, and now it's like there's no way. Info@TonyCurryRadio.net. Info@TonyCurryRadio.net. This is Darkside the Pooch. Kim in Altamont wants to know. She heard that mistletoe is poisonous to animals. True?
Yeah. Stay away from mistletoe, especially in cats. Stay away from it.
Is it poisonous for humans too?
Oh, I don't know about that.
I can't tell you the last time I actually saw.
This is Dark Side of the Pooch, not Dark Side of the Paul.
That's true. Teresa in Irondale wants to know why in the world does her cat always sleep on her head? She said she's got a cat. She loves it. She puts it at the bottom of the bed. It's fine. But when she wakes up in the morning, it's always sleeping on top of her head. Why is that?
I think it's the warmth. So, you can really break it down to two things. It's either the warmth or it's just the closeness of the person. So if she doesn't like it and she wants to maybe change it, you'd have to be careful because you don't want to get like a heating pad that's going to cause them to get too hot and get contact burns, because that will happen. But maybe if she wants to try something cheap around the house, if she does have like a heating pad or like a heated blanket or something, to plug that in, but put some towels on top of it so that the cat won't get too hot, and see if that works. And then if she really wants to go all out, you can get dog and cat beds that are you plug them in, and they're heated. That's actually something that we recommend for dogs. That one of the things we recommend if they are not sleeping through the night, it might be cognitive dysfunction like doggy Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
But one thing that can help with that is like a heated area to sleep on. It might make them more comfortable and more likely to sleep through the night.
Darkside the Pooch, brought to you by Ed's Pet World. Go down there and check out all their exotic pets. They do fantastic work down there just in time for the holidays. They've got everything from tarantulas. They have lovebirds. They have a cockatoo down there. They have water turtles. They have alligators, everything down there. I just love walking through the place. Ed and of course, Angie and the entire crew, they do a wonderful job. Seth is the man down there. He's also got all those great toys. You're looking for some collectible toys, check out Ed's Pet World. Scoop in Louisville, info at TonyCurryRadio.net, said his male dog has nipples. Is that normal?
Yeah. All dogs have nipples. And you can milk a male dog.
Really?
No, you can't. No, you cannot. You cannot.
Say, why would you want
milk
to?
a male dog?
Why would you want to?
No, you wouldn't. But yeah, it's totally normal. Just like us, just like human men. We have nipples. Why? I don't know.
There you go. We've been talking a lot of Christmas stuff and of course, Christmas gifts. And one final story here. We have just a couple of minutes left here. The Kennel Club also came out with the top 4 breeds that have the shortest lifespan. This is kind of morbid, but it's kind of like, and when I read this, the average lifespan is about 6 to 7 years of these breeds. First of all, that sounds really, really short for any dog. I wanted to ask you if it's true. And second of all, why is this possible? The Great Dane lives to be 6 to 8. The Dogue de Bordeaux, is that right? Lives to be 5 to 8. The Bernese Mountain Dog, 6 to 8. And the Neapolitan Mastiff usually lives about 7 or 8 years old. Is that about right for those animals?
Yeah. Any giant breed dog. So things that are, and keep in mind, some dogs are just overweight. So when we talk about weight, we're talking about standard weights, of dogs, not dogs that are overweight. Because you can have a lab that's 150 pounds, but a lab is not considered a giant breed dog. They're large breed dogs. But any dog whose healthy weight is, 150 to 200 pounds. So, we're talking Great Danes and all the breeds you just listed, Mastiffs. Those dogs don't live long. And it's because they're so prone to cancer. They're prone to a lot of different types of cancer. They're prone to bone cancer, splenic cancer, liver cancer.
If they don't have cancer, do they live longer than that? Or is that longevity based on whether they get cancer or not?
Well, the reason that they don't live long is because they get catastrophic diseases. They also have really bad heart disease. So the reason they don't live past 6 or 8 years is because they're going to have some type of organ failure.
Wow. Really?
Yeah. These dogs also have, so we mentioned cancer, but they also have bad hearts. They can, get, arrhymnias. So the electrical activity in the heart, for whatever reason, it just kind of gets out of sync. So, they're prone to a lot of things, and they don't live long. And it's really, it's the same in people.
Yeah.
These guys that are, they play basketball and they're 7 feet tall. It's not uncommon that there's several stories a year where one of these basketball players just run down the floor and their heart stops. They die.
I hate to say this, but when I get an animal, I'm thinking I got it at least 10 years, assuming that I keep it healthy. I don't know if I could get a Maltese knowing that I could only have it for 6 years. Just by the time you really get to loving it, and it's because you figure it's going to be a pup for a couple of years, and you're finally going to be able to teach it and stuff. And next thing you know, it's gone in 6 or 7 years. That's a bummer.
Yeah. I think that most people that own Great Danes, because of all the breeds that you named, Great Danes and Mastiffs are the two that people get with some, frequency.
Yeah.
And I think that those owners know that 6 or 8 years is the maximum. I had 2 Great Danes growing up, and one of them lived to be 6 and one of them lived to be 8. And the first one it was fine. One day we came home and it was dead in the yard, the next day. And I will never forget that. Was coming back from, it was either a basketball game or a basketball practice. And we found, and that dog's name was Max. So that's why I can't believe I missed the number 1 dog name, but we found him dead. And I'm sure it was a cardiovascular issue.
We had a Max too. We had a Max German Shepherd when I was growing up. Darkside the Pooch, you get him at least 5 days a week. You can get it every Monday through Friday right here on Tony Kurre Radio on the TKR app. Thanks to the tens of thousands of folks who've already downloaded that. Of course, if you miss any shows, go to our podcast, Tony Kurre Radio Podcast. It's Kurre with a K, and search Darkside the Pooch with Dr. Rab Stewart. Always brought to you by Ed's Pet World. Seth, Angie, and the entire crew. I love those people down there. They're a little off, and that's what I love about them. They have wonderful exotic pets. They do great jobs of keeping everything alive and making sure you have the best care for all your animals. You get down there. And then, of course, Seth is crazy about toys. It's like a double whammy. It's killing 2 birds with 1 stone. If you're looking for some very unique gifts still in the box, check out all of his wonderful toys. And, of course, he buys, sells, and trades as well. And I will see you with my Pooch tomorrow morning. And, as always, it has been an absolute joy, my friend. Appreciate you, and thank you for everything you do.
Thanks for letting me christen the new studio.
Yes, sir. Very nice job. A wonderful show for the first show. Very good job, man.
This has been a special presentation of Tony Kurre Radio.